Good morning, Dan Kingsley with the Realty Edge team giving you the market update 2025. So kind of kick things off, a lot of things haven't changed a whole lot since last month. It's pretty steady for the most part. Right off the bat, starting with like supply and demand. Pending contracts last month, 2 months ago, it was about 140 pending transactions. This last month, at the end of the month here, we were down to 120. So pending contracts are down a little bit. Also with the supply and demand, our biggest gap is really between the for supply and demand, where we have more inventory than demand, is about that 600 to 700,000, and mostly in that 6 to 650. It starts to kind of taper down when you get to the 700,000, but we just have the biggest discrepancy between those two, and it's like about 10. Kind of 10 apart, where we've got basically in that price point, depending on where exactly you are, about 10 houses more than what is pending, meaning we have a little bit of oversupply, but that seems to be about the highest place in all parts of our market. It's in the reverse when you start cracking below 400,000 like we talked about last month. Our biggest gap is that 2 to about 350. That's kind of the highest demand and the lowest amount of inventory. So that's kind of where we're sitting there. Otherwise, median sold price, we had just kind of jumped up to that 400K the month before, and finishing off this month of May, it's got back down to that 350. So 3 months ago it was 350, then it went up to 4, and now back down to 350. So you can easily see where most buyers are looking for properties in Rochester. It's right around that 350. A lot of people are just qualifying for that. A lot of that movement still has to do with first-time home buyers, less affected by the interest rate, where our secondary buyers or our secondary tier buyers, they may be sitting still at that 3 or 4% interest rate, have a hard time moving into that 600,000 to 700,000 move-up house this year, because they're watching more or less their maybe stocks, bonds, and or having a hard time getting rid of that amazing rate that we will probably never see again, at least in my lifetime. The rest of the stuff is pretty par for the course. We've steady at days on market. So last month, I should say 2 months. So we're always talking about the month before when we do these videos. So May, it's about the same as it was back in April. So April is about 10 days. May, it's about 10 days. That is the median days. Actual average days are a little bit higher. So average was 2 months ago, it was 20 days, and last month it was 16. So that's kind of where we're at with that stuff. So all in all, that's kind of where we're at. Rates are still a little bit higher than we talked about last month. 6.75 is what they're at today. Today's the 2nd of June. And so that's kind of where we're sitting at. Pretty good still below that 7 mark that people seem to be worried about. But prices have already slowly gone up just a smidge this year. As you can see, obviously people want to get stuff that's under 400,000, but that 400,000 mark is right at balance between supply and demand, just like it was last month. So again, if you got any other questions, and this is specifically for Rochester, Minnesota, maybe you live in one of the smaller sleeper communities outside the city, let us know. We can get you market information on that. All you gotta do is call, text, or email. We can get one specific for your subdivision, your neighborhood, your city, and specifically for your house. So again, Dan Kingsley with the Realty Edge team, giving you the market update for last month, May 2025.